Hello, my name is Alexander Morari and I'm the founder of ITKey Media. You've tuned to our regular podcast about Central and Eastern European startups that are just in pre-seed or pre-series A stage. We think these are very important and critical stages in the life of every young company. We want to support such companies in their quest for first business successes, quest for investors or clients, and or combined, of course. Our guest today is Paweł Panasiuk, the founder of a company called Dynamic Air Cooling, based in Poland, which has developed original and already patented technology to generate cold for industrial and residential air cooling and refrigeration. Hello, Paweł. Are you ready to hustle?
Hello, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, I'm ready.
Round one, the technology, the product, the solution that you are building. Tell us a little bit about the solution that you've come up with.
All right. So the technology was developed by a group of scientists in Kiev, Ukraine, and actually I actually met the owner of the idea, or the person who generated this idea back in 2015. And he was very excited about this new opportunity, since it was for the first time that anybody was talking about very effective cooling with actually no use of any chemical coolants. And why this is important? If we don't stop using chemical coolants, which are currently being used in all air conditioners and refrigerators, by the mid-century, 27% of all global warming will be caused by this air conditioning and refrigeration. So for us as a humanity, it's globally vital to change the way we cool ourselves. Because right now we generate a lot of heat based on air conditioning, and by making ourselves cooler right now, we actually make the planet hotter, and in the long term, this is not a winning strategy. So therefore, we focused on developing a technology which would be very ecological, which will not use any chemical coolants, and which will provide us with a clear alternative to already existing solutions. And since 2015, we've been developing this technology. We obtained our first patents in 2017. Right now, we have a new patent in Poland, which we applied for at the beginning of this year. And yep, so we currently have a couple of prototypes. These prototypes are lab prototypes at the moment, but they are already pretty effective. We are able to cool down temperature by 60 degrees. So imagine that if you start with plus 30, within seconds, you're able to reach minus 30. And this is another crucial feature which we deliver to the market, the speed of cooling. So if you own a fridge, for example, you know that before it reaches its operational temperature, it can take like a couple of hours. With us, we are able to cool down at the moment 5 cubic meters of air per minute by 60 degrees. 5 cubic meters. So this is a lot. And we are aiming, of course, to go even further, to extend this and to provide industrial and residential cooling solutions globally on the market.
What's the mechanism behind the cooling process? So I understand this is not chemical. There's no coolants, right? This should be physical or mechanical mostly. So is it recuperation? Absolutely. Or like where do you lose or where do you transfer the heat to?
And the whole technology behind it is based on absolutely different principle comparing to what is being used on the market right now. Yeah. What we currently use on the market is actually a transfer of heat from inside, say, the room or a refrigerator or any like closed, cooled space outside of the space. So it's merely a transfer of thermal energy from inside into the outside. What we try to do, we try to work with this thermal energy, convert it into a different type of energy, such as a kinetic energy, and then utilize this energy of kinetic airflow to generate some electricity. And according to the law of preservation of energy, we are in the result of this whole process, we are left with a smaller amount of energy at the end of the cooling. And this is basically the whole procedure. The way how we do it is our know-how, but basically instead of just taking the heat from one place and spilling it out into the environment or outside of the cooled space, we try to work with that thermal energy and try to utilize it. And this is the key difference between what is available on the market and between what we're trying to do.
Yes, okay. So imagine we are now in an office space, 100 square meters. And
right.
yeah, and let's say somewhere down the road in 2-3 years when the technology is already developed, what would I have to pay for retrofitting of such a space, let's say, and let's say this is a standalone building, 100 square meters, just to make it easier. What would I have to do to retrofit to accommodate your technology? And what would be the process? Have you thought about that? Yeah.
Absolutely, because you're absolutely nailing it. All right, we understand that for many customers, even if they are willing to change their technology, financial investment, if they have to replace the whole deal, like everything what is already installed in their system, can be extremely painful. And therefore, we tend to just replace the external unit, what is the unit which is located somewhere on the roof of the building, or which is located simply outside of the cooled space. We would like to replace that unit. Then we will replace the Freon, which is currently running in the pipes around the building. We will replace it with a safe coolant, say glycol, for example. And we will cool down that glycol. So basically the whole replacement, the whole retrofitting will boil down to replacing one unit at the top of the building and then replacing all the Freon with a safe coolant. And that's it. We have to, first of all, we have to think about something like total cost of ownership of such a device, right? So it doesn't mean that I pay one-time fee at the beginning of the process or at the beginning of the retrofitting or installation of anything, and that's that for me. No, you pay for electricity, you pay for service repairs, you pay for filling in additional Freon liquids or Freon gases, which are currently running into the in the system. So this all contributes to total cost of ownership. And our approach is that we will provide you with a device which will cost you slightly less or will be on par with devices currently present on the market. So from the point of view of capital expenses, you will not pay more comparing to what currently you can buy. But we will provide you savings in several things. First of all, we will provide you at least 20% saving in electricity bills, because our device is much more energy efficient. We will provide you with less repair costs, because freons, they're quite tricky gases. Even if you have the slightest, tiniest hole anywhere in the system, you simply will have to go and look and find and seal it and refill that freon, because the system will not work that efficiently. And this is one of the largest problem in using HFC. This is hydrofluorocarbon gases currently being used for refrigeration purposes. They are extremely volatile, and they are quite expensive to replace. With us, you will just replace glycol, which is basically water with some alcohol added into it to prevent freezing. And that is dirty cheap, to put it this way. Also, one thing also to consider is that in case you say is an agricultural company and you require a cooling facility to store your apples, potatoes, whatever, which you produce, you have to register as an operator of environmentally dangerous equipment, and you have to go through regular administrative procedures every time, or like every 2 years, in case you want to operate such a device. This is an added cost of administration. This is an added cost of regular maintenance checks and so on and so forth. With us, you just don't have any of that. So to answer your question, we don't aim to be we don't aim to be cheaper in terms of the device per se, but we would like to provide economical benefit in the long term, so that you save by using the device.
What are the key, let's say, couple of group of clients that you have in mind?
Uh, Also, extremely interesting question. We are quite early stage right now, and we defined for ourselves two beachhead markets. First of them is refrigerated containers. All right, and second is HVAC, so heating, ventilation, and air conditioning market. So, but we have to understand that what we are offering is not a device per se, or the device can be applied to one segment of the market. We are offering, or we are working with a technology which basically can be replicated to any market segment out there. All right. So right now we're looking into these two markets because we consider that for us it will be the easiest and potentially the most bright example of what our technology can do comparing to what exists on the market.
Pavel, let's move on to the next round, and this round will focus on competitors. Your technology seems to be pretty unique. I have not found very prominent competitors within dynamic air cooling technology. From like global perspective, is there any company that you would say is closest to what you are doing, or maybe most interesting or most challenging to what you are doing?
I wouldn't say that there are companies per se which are close to us or which apply the same physical principles as we do, but there are a couple of very bright ideas out there, and one of them, I think that the name of the company is Sound Cooling, and this is a startup from the Netherlands, and they try to cool down air by sound waves. And it's seem absolutely futuristic, something of Harry Potter magic, but nonetheless, they already also have prototypes which they apply for demonstrational purposes, and they are working on that. Absolutely, there are like lots of ideas out there. Of course, like for every starting company, it boils down to finding the right opportunity, finding the right partner, and protecting their know-how.
Yeah, interesting. Cooling by sound. Okay, so let's move on to next round, which is called companies' ups and downs. And what can you share with other founders and top management of other startup companies?
Well, probably like to our biggest downs, as you say, so our biggest things, which I would definitely change from the very beginning, was the wrong strategy in terms of negotiation with potential investors. And I immediately say that it was wrong because we were trying to be like very nice in terms of, all right, we made a deal, we already talked to you first, so we will wait for your decision. And well, you don't have this decision this month, so we will wait another month. And for us, this like the approach where we were like keeping our word and waiting for other side to make a decision resulted in prolongation of the financing stage for 8 months. All right, so only after we understood, all right, this is leading nowhere, we should go and pursue the opportunity with other investors, and this is what we did, and that worked much fastly and much more efficiently comparing to what we were expecting from the very beginning. So if I can give you a piece of advice, yeah, you should tell the truth. You should be very open about like what you do and what you try to achieve. But this is business. So in the matter, it's the matter of approach, not only from your side, but also from the side of other people you're talking to. And if you don't see the replies you're expecting, just move forward. Okay, go and talk to someone else.
Yeah, interesting, Pavel. What you're trying to say, I understand, is just be more assertive, right? And as one guy in Turkey said, I'm aggressive, but I'm positive aggressive. Is that what you're trying to say? And then where's the balance? Where's the balance? If you are very young and you know you have like your bank account can keep you alive for 1-2 months, 1-2 weeks, depending on the situation. How would you suggest young company startup founders to be bluffing a little bit more or just to be more decisive and to not sit on the fence? If it's a yes, it should be a quick yes. If no, just say no and move on. What would be your advice?
Yeah, so my advice would be to go and explore as many opportunities as possible. I'm personally not the person who would like to go and bluff a lot. So I'd rather set expectations low and then provide the results, or maybe over deliver. But at the moment, the situation on the market and the situation with startups is such that you are able to find many VC funds, you're able to find many investors interested in your idea. You just have to talk to all of them. Don't focus on one opportunity. Don't put your eggs in one basket, to put it like more literally. Go and explore, and for sure there are tons of money out there which can be used to finance your project.
Yeah, interesting. I think this is precious, especially for those first-time startup founders. What about the biggest success by now? Is there anything you would like to share, and of course to share your lessons, how you achieved this?
Well, for us, the biggest success, I'd say that, well, can I say two? Like one of them would be technical, another one would be, of course, business. And technical success was when we actually, for 3 years, we were making calculations, building theories, making some models, simulating everything in the software. So it was like dreaming the dream. But actually, when we built the prototype and then when we saw the results, the decrease in temperature, that was probably the largest success the biggest success for us from the point of view of technology breakthrough. So we understood, even for ourselves, before we were convinced for 99%, but there is always this 1% of doubt, we were like, after we saw the prototype and after we were checking the results, and we saw the cooling process occurring, we understood that yes, there is something here, what is quite precious, what we should protect, and what we can build our business on. And in terms of business success, I would always say that these are the people you are lucky to meet. And for us, it was our investor, our VC fund, which we've met in Poland. And we find not just financial support in them, right? But we find extremely wide range of opportunities. So they're constantly bombarding us with different proposals, different offers, things which they're ready to support us with. So, and this is extremely valuable. If you're able to find a partner who is to some extent thinking for you, right, or trying to propose things which you wouldn't think of, this is just like providing you absolutely different perspective of the project, and just gives much more opportunities to go and explore things out there.
So you would like not only to find an investor, but also a business partner, basically, right? And so that
you have to find people.
Yeah. Who are not only focusing on calculators and ROIs for their investment, but also actually taking you by the hand through the business, business adventure, so to say. And so your egg landed in the right basket there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But look, it's not just about support; it's about challenging you as well, right? So because the progress cannot be just by dragging somewhere, right? So there has to be some opposition to you, right? So, and you have to get critical from time to time. And if you're able to find these people who will not only be supportive no matter what, right? So, but if you find people who will be thinking about what they're saying and sometimes contradicting you, but not blindly following whatever you say. This all will provide you with a much bigger incentive and strength to go further.
Pavel, thanks. Let's move on to round 4. So round 4, we will focus a little bit on the company, the founding team, and the team at large that you have right now. How many people do you have in the founding team?
6 people. Well, there are 3 founders.
Yeah.
And there are 6 people altogether directly present in the team. So there are 3 more.
Are they on the cap table? Are they on the cap table as well? Or, I mean, shareholders?
3 people. No. 3 people are on the team, and 3 people are just employees. Well, employees, not just employees.
Valuable employees. Okay, yeah. And what is the division, let's say, of labor between the founding teams? How do you divide your expertise or your functions?
I'm coming from a marketing and business background, so I'm trying to focus more on the things related to fundraising, finances, administrative support, presentation of the company, talking to investors, talking to clients. And other 2 founders, they focus more on the technical side of things. Yeah. So one of them is directly responsible for management of the technical team, and another is focusing more on cooperation with different research institutions.
Yeah, so let's mention at least the founding team. So there's Pavel, you, CEO and co-founder, yeah, and more of a business strategy, marketing, sales, I understand, like frontline and screen time as well, yeah, as we see. Alexander Razumtsev, the CTO, right, the more on the engineering side, yeah, and like manufacturing, you could say, right? And who's the third?
And then there is Olha Razumtseva. So they are actually both. So it's a couple, and they are the authors of the the idea of the cooling technology. So they actually. All right. So as I mentioned, we started in 2015 with actual work on this project. And till 2018, this project was solely financed by owners. There is this very nice term in startup community, 3 Fs, right? Friends, fools, and family. So that was us. Okay, absolutely. So we were working under own financing for this almost 4 years, and after we went public with information about our project, after we already had some first trials, successful trials, we started talking to different funds, we started talking to investors, and we also started participating in different competitions. Yeah. And surprisingly for us, first external money came from prizes in different competitions which we've won. And after that, we were in the middle of last year, 2019, we were invited to participate in Poland Prize. This is a Polish government program for startups which would like to establish their business in Poland, for foreign startups, and we received some financing through that, and then at the beginning of 2020 we signed a deal about investment from Polish VC fund.
Yeah, how much has been invested into the company right now, more or less, of course, the range, if you calculated that, would be interesting.
We received investment of 250,000 euros.
You mean from the VC, right?
Yes. Yes. So if we speak about investment, and if we talk about the overall amount of money which we already put into the project, I believe it's approaching €500,000.
Okay. Yeah, and what are the most immediate plans for investment?
That will be our seed round, yes, and I believe that we'll open it at the beginning of next year, after we finalize our pilot projects, after pilot projects results are available to our potential investors, and also after we finish European patent application process.
Interesting. I think we've managed to cover lots of interesting things, and that's something that looks to me as just another example of a CEE-based company that is working on something within unique approach and potential global impact. We wish you all the best, Pavel. Good luck, and hope to be in touch with you and to follow your successes.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and let's stay in touch.
So today's guest of our podcast was Dynamic Air Cooling, which is a Polish company with a new and potentially disruptive cooling technology. As soon as they receive EU patents and their pilots are successful proof of concept, they will be ready for global scale up. They're getting ready for the seed investment round as well in the beginning of 2021, next year. And I think that is a very cool project. And another cool thing would be if you could join us next time as well. That's it for now. All the best. Bye-bye.